Dracula by Bram Stoker. The novel Dracula, written by Bram Stoker in 1897, represents the epilogue of Gothic novels. The Gothic novel is a narrative genre which is typical of the second half of the 18th century, represented by the union of romantic and dark elements. The term Gothic is in relation with the Anglo-Saxon culture of the Middle Age, during which people told stories in pseudo-medieval buildings and in dark places. The main theme of the Gothic novel are the interior conflict, the macabre, the supernatural, the lost love, and ancient prophecies. Bram Stoker was born in 1897 in Clontarf, a small village on the north side of Dublin, Ireland. Here, he attended studies of literature, history and mathematics at Trinity College. He became the theatre critic for the Dublin Evening Mail, and he gave a positive review of Henry Irving's Hamlet at the Theatre Royal in Dublin, and then they became friends. Stoker also wrote stories, and in 1872 The Crystal Cup was published by the London Society, followed by The Chain of Destiny in 4 parts in the Shamrock. The collaboration with Henry Irving was important for Stoker, and thanks to him, he was involved in the London Science Society, where he met Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Working for Irving, the most famous actor of this time, and managing one of the most successful theatres in London, made Stoker a notable man. Before writing Dracula, Stoker met Arminius Vanbury, an Hungarian writer and traveller. Dracula emerged from Vanbury's dark stories, and then Stoker spent several years researching European folklore and mythological stories of vampires. Dracula is an epistolary novel, written as a collection of realistic, but completely fictional, diary entries, telegrams, letters, ship's logs, and newspaper clippings, all of which added a level of detailed realism to the story. In 1992, Francis Ford Coppola directed the movie inspired by the novel by Bram Stoker. In the movie, Gary Oldman is Dracula, Winona Ryder is Mina, Keanu Reeves is Jonathan Harker, and Anthony Hopkins is the Professor Van Helsing. The story begins with a view to the past of the Count Dracula and his lost love during the War of Transylvania against the Turkish Empire and the reason why he became a vampire. Then, the story continues in 1897 with the journey of Jonathan Harker in Transylvania. He is there to aid Count Dracula, a Transylvanian nobleman, in buying an English estate. His journey into the remote Eastern European landscape is fearsome, although initially he is charmed by the Count's generosity and intelligence. Gradually, he comes to realize this is a prisoner of Dracula's castle, and that the Count is a demonic being, so the young lawyer is left in the hands of 3 vampire brides. Meanwhile, in England, Jonathan's fiancée Mina visits her best friend Lucy, which has recently been proposed by 3 men. In these days, Dracula arrived in London on board of the ship in form of a wolf-like creature that aims for Lucy's blood. Lucy begins to exhibit strange behavior. She sleepwalks and she seems to be growing paler and weaker. The changing of Lucy alarms her suitors, so they summon Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, who recognizes Lucy as the victim of a vampire. Dracula, appearing young and handsome during the daylight, meets and charms Mina. When Mina receives a letter from Jonathan, who has escaped the castle, she travels to Romania to marry him. In his fury, Dracula transforms Lucy into a vampire. After Jonathan and Mina returns to London, Jonathan and Van Helsing list the others to Carfax Abbey, where they destroy the Count's boxes of soil. Dracula enters the asylum, where Mina is hidden, and he kills Renfield, his mortal servant. He visits Mina and confesses that he kills Lucy. A confused and angry Mina admits that she still loves him and remembers her previous life as Elisabetta, so Dracula begins transforming her into a vampire. The hunters burst into the bedroom, and Dracula claims Mina as his bride before escaping. As Mina changes, Van Helsing hypnotizes her and learns her connection with Dracula. After a bloody fight against Dracula and his servants in Transylvania, Queen sees the Count with a sword, but Mina helps the vampire to seek refuge in the chapel. There, he begs Mina to give him peace. They share a kiss as the candles adorn the chapel light up, and Mina shoves the sword through his heart. Dracula's curse is lifted. She decapitates him, and finally, Dracula and Elisabetta ascend to heaven together. First, in the title we find a difference. The novel is Dracula, and the movie is Dracula by Bram Stoker. The director wanted to give to the movie a romantic view of the vampire, giving a reason to his transformation, but in the novel this element is not present. The novel is set in 1890, while the movie in 1897. The reincarnation of Elisabetta and Mina is absent in the novel, and also the intercourse between Dracula and Mina. In the movie, Jonathan tells to Van Helsing his frightful experience in Transylvania, while in the novel, Van Helsing reads Jonathan's diary. In addition, the character Van Helsing is very different between the novel and the movie. In the first, he's kind and professional. In the second, he's lively and fanatic. I chose Dracula because I've always been attracted by its romantic and gothic story, and also because I think that vampire novels are the best representations of impossible love stories. This represents Dracula.